Welcome to the Chugach Backcountry Ski Base Camp webinar with St. Elias Alpine Guides. My name is Anya Voskresensky. I'm one of the owners of St. Elias Alpine Guides, and I'm our expedition coordinator. So I organize all of our backcountry trips, backpacking, rafting, and skiing and climbing in the park.
My name's Brian Kerr. I'm Anya's husband, one of the other owners of St. Elias Alpine Guides, and I'm our lead mountaineering guide.
Today we're going to talk about our ski trips. We'll also talk about who we are, where we ski, and what to expect, and why we think this is the ski trip for you.
St. Elias Alpine Guides was founded by a legendary climber named Bob Jacobs back in 1978. He was originally guiding on Denali, and for a short time held the speed record on Denali, but even in the 70s recognized that it was a little too busy, decided to move out to McCarthy, Alaska, in the heart of the Wrangells, where there wasn't a lot going on. And still to this day, when you go out into the mountains, chances are you're not going to run into anyone else.
The company started as maybe a handful of guides, and over the last 40 years, it's grown to about 40 guides. We're definitely the local experts and the longest running business in the area. And we're pretty much the only ones skiing and climbing out in the Wrangells in every spring.
All the ski guides at St. Elias Alpine Guides have been with us for a minimum of 2 years, most 3 to 5 years. They hold a variety of certifications because the guiding world allows for a lot of movement. So a lot of them have Avalanche Pro level 1s. They all have wilderness first responders or higher in medical certification. A lot of them work in the ski industry in the wintertime, so they might have ski instructor PSIA certifications. A lot of ski patrol, different certifications and things of that nature. And then some are just, ski guides on the traditional ski track with the American Mountain Guide Association as well. So a variety of talent and skill sets. Everyone on our staff goes on multiple trips with myself or guides that we have trained personally. So all of it is in-house. They are used to the unknown of the Wrangells. When you're out there, there's no one else out there. They're used to the comforts of being alone. They know what it's like in the big mountains. They know what crevasse terrain is like, and they know how to keep people safe and have a good time.
And speaking of the Wrangells, just to give you a little background, Wrangell St. Elias is the largest national park in the U.S. It's one of the least heard of, though. I've got it on the map there for you. You can see it's in the eastern side of Alaska, right on the border with Canada. The little red location marker on the left or in the west is Anchorage, and the location marker on the east is about 300 miles east of Anchorage. That's McCarthy. That's our home base in the center of Wrangell St. Elias National Park. This park is one of the least visited, and especially for its size. It's a huge wilderness area, almost completely undeveloped, and it's really hard to get to, which means that not a lot of people get to it. The people that are coming out here are definitely a lot more adventurous. They're into the authentic and really wild experience that the Wrangells can offer. Of this national park, in this national park, there are 4 different mountain ranges. So lots of opportunity to ski and climb and adventure. For our ski trips, we like to go into the eastern Chugach Range or western St. Elias Range. McCarthy, the town, is right in the center of the national park. So it's about a 40-minute bush plane flight southeast from there, where we're headed into the mountains that are close to the coast, high in elevation. So they hold some really great ski conditions in the springtime, and a variety of objectives and ski terrain. Our general itinerary for our ski trips is meant to be all inclusive. You get yourself to Anchorage, we will take it from there. So we'll pick you up in Anchorage, we'll drive you to McCarthy. From there, you'll meet your guides, and we'll include very rustic but basic lodging in the bunk rooms of our headquarters building. The guides will do an orientation with you, run through your gear. You'll pick out some snacks for the trip. And then the next morning, we'll fly out into the backcountry and establish our camp. Then it's, skiing to your heart's content. We'll get into that in just a sec. And then we'll fly back to McCarthy on the last day of the trip. Again, lodging is included that night. And then we'll drive you back to Anchorage the next day. Our ski trips are either on an 8 or a 9-day itinerary. And that is meant to include some flexibility and enough time to deal with any type of weather delays that might come up.
Our base camp ski locations that we've selected are fly in, fly out only. The ski planes that we fly with are holding anywhere between 4 to 2 people, which includes the pilot. So a lot of times we're strapping gear onto the outside of the planes and packing little corners into the plane to make sure weight is distributed evenly, and landing right in the middle of the glacier in a cirque. So surrounded by all aspects of deep valley of snow, where there's ski terrain completely surrounding you. Because of that, it makes for a wonderful location to build a central camp with a variety of tents. And as the sun hits all aspects of the mountain, you've got different locations and times based on sun, wind, snow volume, all that kind of stuff, to kind of capitalize on each day skiing as much as possible.
Our base camps, you can see a picture in the top right there. Usually the guides will get out and probe out a circle, kind of a safety circle, where we'll build our camp. So we'll find all the crevasses in that circle. You don't want to set up your tent on top of a crevasse. And we typically share tents. It's more fun and certainly warmer out there. If you have your own 4-season tent, you're welcome to bring that. We'll also bring a group cook tent, and typically it's the Dome. We have a whole blog post about Dome life. It's a really fun component of the trip. You can see a picture in the bottom right there. It's a big tent that we dig out the bottom so you can actually stand up inside and move around really easily and stretch. We'll have a breakfast and dinners in there. And certainly if there's any kind of bad weather, we can all hang out together instead of, you being cramped up in your own tent or sleeping bag alone. Food is included in our trips, and we actually get great reviews on our cooking. We'll make a hot breakfast and a hot dinner for you. And you can see on the top left there, sometimes we'll cook outside if the weather is nice. For lunch, we'll usually bring trail lunches or snack lunches. These are lunches that you'll get to pack yourself, so you'll get to choose food that you like. But we do that because, when you're outside, you might be on the go, you might be spread out on a rope team or trying to eat fast, doing like 3 mini lunches instead of one big sit down affair. You don't want to have to, bust out the stove or anything like that. We'll keep it a little bit more efficient for that. Everybody always asks how you poop. Here on the Glacier, we'll just dig out a big latrine and go right into the snow. No need to pack anything out.
The terrain and conditions. One unique thing about a ski trip like this is as you fly in a small group with your 2 guides, you get to be a part of the whole experience. This terrain isn't, avalanche mitigated. There's not people out there at all. There's a good chance there haven't been people skiing in this location for years, or at least since last spring. So you get to step out very slowly with the guides. They're going to, ski very easy terrain on day 1. You're going to be with them as they're digging pits, taking observations to see if slopes are sliding, where the sun is hitting slopes at different times, things of that nature, so they can map out the coming days and think, okay, it would be great to ski this line at this time, this line at this time. As they're slowly learning, you get to be with them and make decisions with them and choose objectives on a daily basis. Where we're skiing in these middle elevations of the Chugach Mountains between 5,000 and 8,000 feet traditionally, the snow is really great. We still get a lot of powder days in the spring, but if it doesn't happen to hit deep powder, the snowpack is very deep and established from the wintertime. So it goes through its freeze thaw cycle very quickly and turns into corn, which is wonderful spring skiing. So no matter what the conditions, no matter what the weather conditions, the skiing is usually pretty great. Our gear. There is a link to our gear list that's broken into two sections, personal gear as well as group gear that the company will provide. So I encourage you to go through all the details. You're going to see a lot of repetitive stuff as if it's a ski tour day somewhere, in Washington, California, Utah, Colorado. But when you're out on a glacier for a very long time, you got to prepare for just a little bit more. Things that clients often don't think about are how hot it can get out there sometimes. So I spend a lot of time ski touring in a sun hoodie, nice and light, just put the hood up. I've got a t-shirt packed with me, multiple pairs of sunglasses in case something would happen to deal with all that kind of sun, lots of sunscreen. And then obviously you want to go the other end as well and pack plenty of warm layers. Be prepared. Things that can be really great to protect yourself from the sun. I've got some examples of a head buff. It can be nice because there is so much reflection coming off the sun or off the snow in the summertime when it's sunny out. You don't want to get burned underneath your chin, underneath your nose, certain areas like that. So having a head buff on and pulling it up over your hat to give yourself protection can be very, very nice. Other things that can come in handy. Everybody has questions about gloves. There's 100 different pairs of gloves on the market out there, and a lot of them are hundreds of dollars. We highly recommend the Showa, SHOWA, that you can find on Amazon for $27. It is a Japanese fishing glove, so it is 100% waterproof with a fleece lining, keeps your hand nice and warm, and has a nice snow cuff to cinch down as well. For $27, it can't be beat. It works great for handling ropes, gives you plenty of dexterity. So we strongly recommend the Showa glove to save you some cash and kind of gain performance. Other aspects to remember that you're camping on a glacier. So although it may not be in your ski kit on a daily basis, a pair of insulated puffy pants that I can zip on and off with the side zips comes in handy. When you're hanging out at the end of a long day of skiing, you're not going back to a lodge. You're going into some big tents. You're going to be drinking some whiskey, eating some pizza, but you're going to want to stay nice and warm. So the extra layers come in handy, as well as kind of an overkill size parka. Nice and big and puffy. You can basically lay down in the snow and stay nice and warm in this. It's really nice in camp in the evenings at night when it gets cold. If you got to hop out of the tent real quick to take a pee, it's nice to have a big puffy jacket on like this in case it gets cold. Other things to consider before you would show up to Alaska is make sure your skins and the glue on the bottom of your skins are in good shape. You're going to be ski touring all day in a variety of temperatures, very cold and icy in the morning, might be hot and wet and soupy in the afternoon. So you want to make sure your skins and the glue is in very good shape. Make sure your boots feel good. If your feet get pretty sore or tired, or you get blisters in a 2 to 4 hour ski tour in your home state all day on a hot glacier, or walking around in them at the end of the day in camp a little bit, you want to make sure you're comfortable. You're going to be in them a lot longer than you normally are. So make sure your boots fit really well. And is there anything else?
I just recommend booties.
Down booties or any kind of synthetic booty to keep your feet nice and warm when you take your ski boots off is nice. There are multiple gear shops in Anchorage that have them for, $50, $60 that you can pick up before the trip starts as well when you get into Anchorage. All
right. Who is this trip for? Is it for you? We are looking for strong to intermediate backcountry skiers, and split boarders are welcome too. But we want you to, this isn't a great trip for resort skiers. You want backcountry experience. Specifically, you want to be comfortable on a variety of different types of snow. If your ski lines here are going to be pretty long, like 2,000 feet, it's unlikely that the snow is the same at the top, and middle, and bottom of that run. So being able to ski powder, ski corn, icy crust, I hope you don't have any, but just in case, you want to be able to be comfortable on all of those types of conditions. There's no groomed runs out here. You want to be comfortable skiing with a pack on. This is typical for most backcountry skiing, but out here your pack might be a little bit heavier. You'll probably head out each day with a few extra layers than you typically do. We recommend at least 30 days in the backcountry, but if you're 30 years in the backcountry, you'll have an even better time. And we do recommend being fit for this trip. It's one thing to go out on a ski tour for a couple hours in your home state, and here you're going to be out there for 5 to 8 hours for 6 to 7 days. To be able to capitalize on that, you want to be in good shape. So training for this trip is a good idea. And our skiers often ask what they can do to prepare skill-wise for a trip like this. Just being comfortable with your backcountry skiing. So being an efficient skinner, being good with your kick turns. We're going to try to minimize those for you, but occasionally they are required. Being quick with your transitions, or just efficient with your transitions, going from up to down. Again, like I mentioned, skiing with a pack that might be a little heavier than you're used to, skiing variable snow. If you have avalanche rescue skills, that's great. Brush up on them before you come on this trip. And then you will be on a rope at least a little bit on this trip as you're crossing glaciated terrain. So if you want to learn some climbing or mountaineering knots, there's 10 million YouTube videos to teach you those, but that's something that you can do to prep for this trip. Now, why should you come skiing with us? If we haven't convinced you already, skiing out in the Wrangells with St. Elias Alpine Guides gives you the real, authentic Alaskan experience. We're out there in the real wilderness. Like Brian said, there's probably not been anyone out skiing the terrain that you're skiing yet this season. You're definitely not going to see anyone out there. And not just the views are awesome, but the experience is incredible. We're looking for people that are real adventurers, that don't need a ski lodge and a hot tub at the end of the night, that want to get a little cold, that want to be out there camping. That's who this trip is really for. And we do have a small group focus. We max out at 6 skiers per trip. So you are going to get that specialized attention. You are going to be able to ski your dream line on this trip, and you're going to be in great company. A little bit of the nitty gritty about the dates and rates. This is for 2026 trip availability. Like I said before, we have a couple different trips with either 8-day or 9-day format, just one extra day in the backcountry. We also have dates available for private trips if you're interested in just you and your buddies. And at the time of booking, we'll take $1,000 deposit. We'll collect the balance 30 days before the trip. Thanks for hanging out with us, and let us know if you have any questions. If you're dreaming of ski planes and glacier camps and long Alaskan ski lines, I hope this is the sign that it's possible and it's out there, and we hope you'll join us.
Thanks, everyone. We'll see you in McCarthy.